So I guess I'm going to dive in, start talking about Facebook. Now, I know I also am guilty of thinking this as well. Thinking Facebook's dead. Why am I going to spend so much time in my business working on it? Yeah, there's groups, but personally, I never go on the groups. Or, it's just so much effort in Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat and all the other ways you can build your business. They all have their pros and cons. And I, of course, was kind of thinking, do I really want to spend the effort on Facebook? And is my clientele on Facebook? Well, I'm here to tell you it is not dead, which you probably guessed because you're probably part of my Facebook group. And I'm doing a whole section about Facebook. But I'm going to talk about a little bit more about facts that you might not actually know. Did you know? Also, before I get started, a little bit more about why Facebook, my thoughts about Facebook. I think there was a moment, and again, I'm not going to pretend to be a Facebook expert at all. There are definitely people and professionals out there that focus their entire career on Facebook and on social media in general. And I just want to be here as a photographer and as a business owner who's been around for, 15, 16, 17, and I realize that I'm getting closer to 20 years. I've been through many ups and downs and seen them come and go and been able to maintain a successful business the whole time that I want to help other people do it, help them not waste their time in business running in the wrong direction, and to be a support system where you can get some solid answers from. So when it comes to Facebook, again, I'm not an expert, but I know a little bit and I know where to find the answers as well. So, and this is an easy place for me to tell you and hopefully for you to get some information from in a fun way. Anyways, back to Facebook. So I was sitting here over the holidays and I was chatting with my younger cousins who are all in their 20s. And I was thinking, because I was under the impression that the only people on Facebook are the old people, which is kind of true. I'm not going to lie. My 80-year-old mother is totally on the Facebook. But I was also talking to my cousins who were like, nah, I totally use Facebook. And they're in their 20s. So then as I did a little bit more research, here's what I'm thinking. Facebook was on its way out, and then something stopped it, and it's still not sneaking away. It's still there, and it's still something that you can really utilize in your business. So, for example, did you know that the average age of the person on Facebook, which this actually blew my mind, is 25 to 34? I was shocked because, again, what you kind of think to see is that it's a much older demographic. And I'm thinking it's because there's so many people who are entrepreneurs, and Facebook is such an amazing tool to use for your business, which we're going to cover a little bit more. Also, there are still 2.8 billion monthly active users. That's a huge number. So, again, I don't think Facebook's going anywhere anytime soon. And here are a few big umbrella reasons in how Facebook can help you with your business. Whether you're a photographer or whether your business is in a different kind of avenue. Networking is so important in your business, and Facebook is an awesome way for you to network, get to know other peer groups, get to know other people in your industry, learn what's new and trending, and you're able to do it in a circle and in a group outside your tiny little sphere of influence. You can look into the whole world, your whole nation, the state, however wide you want to go. You can always leave me all the comments and questions now or later. And then also brand. It's just another way to get your brand awareness out there. And when you're starting your business, you want your brand to be seen everywhere. You want your business name to be synonymous with who you are, what you stand for, what your colors are. So the more you put it out there, and Facebook is another way to do it, the better. Another, exposure. Another way to get your brand out there, another way for people to see your photos or your whatever aspect of your business you're trying to promote out there. So, networking, brand, and exposure. And guess what? It's free. Unless you're doing ads, which we'll talk a tiny, tiny little bit about, but not too much. But again, for the most part, you can get on Facebook for free and really promote your business. And who doesn't like free marketing, right? Okay, so to dive in a little bit more, we're going to talk about networking because really, this is what I've come to find is a great way for networking because Instagram's great, but Instagram is a visual. It's all photos. Yeah, people write captions, but conversations don't really happen in the same way that they happen on networking with Facebook. And the best way to do it with Facebook is groups. Join peer groups. Join Facebook groups that are part of your business, whether it's for me, for example, for photographers. If you're going to be joining Facebook groups, look at joining other specific photographer Facebook groups. They are not competition. Collaboration over competition. You want to have photographer friends. They're going to help you. They're going to make you feel like you're not alone in the world, especially because oftentimes when you're a photographer, you're working by yourself. You don't have anyone else to bounce ideas with, and these Facebook groups of photographers are key. Also, join local, like if you're a wedding, for example, join the local wedding organizations so where you're getting to know other vendors. Again, ways in which to build your community, build your network, build your brand awareness in a super authentic way where actual conversations can happen. So once you're in these Facebook groups and you're building connections with peers, ask questions and also offer the support, because it's going to help both ways, right? You're just going to help each other build all your businesses. And then also there's Facebook events. Create your own event. This is kind of an event, right? It's a virtual event. But then also, if you're looking at doing more business aspects and you want to reach more clientele, throw parties, throw things that might get your clients interested in what you're doing. So there's really unique ways in which you can use Facebook groups and Facebook events to network. Just as always, be super authentic and keep it real. Not just always asking for things. You really want to give information as well. If you find someone you're really connected with, comment on their pages. Start a conversation with them. Throw them a DM once in a while, right? Make some friends. That's really what it's about, making friends. I'm totally going to show my age. Remember back when there was Friendster? There was a reason it was called Friendster. It's basically, oh gosh, I might get in trouble for saying this. Facebook is just the newer version of all that stuff that started as making friends. So let's focus on that. There's ways in which, speaking of like building a little bit more networking, there's an algorithm, of course, right? Now, again, I'm not going to talk a lot about exact things to do and tips, and I can't pretend to know I know it all. But I do know a little, and I've seen how things kind of work. When it comes to the algorithm in Facebook, you really want to focus on meaningful interactions. It's not just about photos like it is on Instagram or videos like it is in TikTok. Here's your chance to really connect using words. And you want it to be meaningful interactions, right? You want it to spark conversations and connections. A good way to do that is to very much keep it personal, engage, ask questions to other people so they ask questions back, comment to someone else's questions. And another great way is to actually show content that includes your family and friends. So you're keeping it personal and light, as well as your brand. But instead of it being all business, keep it personal. Put some honest things out there. And again, it really creates more conversation. If you're putting a family photo of you and your family, it's going to make your clients want to engage with you a little bit more. So that's the networking tip. Brand, just a few little things to think about when you're building your Facebook page is, and you want to make sure you have a business page, and you want to make sure that you have your Instagram hooked to your business page. And if you don't know already, I actually have a whole social media course, really great, $97, and it goes through all the major Facebook, Instagram, how to set up, and some daily methods that DM me. I can put that information. I'll put it in a link in the replay. Awesome way to just get things going and feel confident about what you're doing without wasting time. You want to make sure you have a very detailed about page that tells you, again, on brand. You really want to talk about your brand when this comes to that. Who are you? What do you want to sell? And keep that when you're using your about page. So fill it all in. The more information someone knows when they get to your page, the better. Use your about, then use your captions and use your brand voice. So, I'm pretty casual, you can tell. I'm pretty fun and relaxed, right? That's my brand. So when I speak and when I talk and when I write captions, I keep it very casual. I get yelled at for using too many exclamation marks. But I'm kind of like, that's kind of how I speak, right? Right. So use your captions to use your brand. And then also your Facebook albums are a great place to show off your portfolio. Again, when it comes to photography, it's just a great place to show off your portfolio. Upload those photos you want to share, both personal and professional, because you want to interchange the two together. And then use your stories. Facebook stories is a great place. I know for me, oftentimes I'll do a lot of business on my page, but then my stories are very personal and more fun. So keep that in mind as well. And then, consistency is key. Like with all things when it comes to the social media world, you want to be consistent. You want to be on here. Like this Tuesday Talks, I'm still going to show up and be here because I want to be consistent. And you never know when someone's going to want to watch this later. So being consistent is key with all the social media, but Facebook specifically, especially because if we're starting to talk about Facebook not being important, if you don't give it importance, it's not going to work for you. So where you put your energy, where you put your attention, that's what's going to actually grow more and be more useful to you. And then when it comes to engagement, besides being authentic and building friends, what do you want? What's going to help your engagement? Comments, likes, shares. So if that's your ultimate goal, is to have people comment on your posts and stories, like your posts and stories, and share your posts and stories, what do you think you should do for other people? Comment, like, share. Do unto others, as they say. So if you want this to happen with you, do it for other people. And we talked a little bit about this last week when it comes to Instagram. And one is be authentic and go through and kind of find like-minded, on-brand, ideal clients, ideal vendors that you want to work with, and reach out to them by commenting, liking, and sharing their posts. Is that Facebook is a great tool to help you define and know more about your ideal client. Because if you have one ideal client in your world, right? You follow them, they follow you. They're a former client of yours. And you look at their photos and you see brands that they follow, and you see friends of theirs, and you see places they travel and places they visit, you're going to start to formulate a little bit more your ideal client. So I just went through a ton of information really fast because I just want to make this quick and easy and as chock full of as much information as I can. Thanks, friends.